insurance.
Live breaking news from News Channel 3.
Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Butita. We are breaking into programming right now to bring you some breaking news that we're following in the Santa Barbara back hills area. This is our view from TV Hill. You can see the large plume of smoke that has erupted out there. What we know is that there's a fire burning. They're calling it the Ray Fire. And this is 75 to 100 acres at this point. But literally 10 minutes ago, when I was walking outside, I couldn't see this plume of smoke. And then we went back outside a few minutes ago, and this is what it looked like. So things escalating pretty quickly here. This is near the Los Prietos Boys Camp and the White Rock campsites. We have crews on the way, and we'll bring you updates as soon as they become available. This is impacting, we hear, the 154 as well. If you plan on driving that way, be aware of that. This fire, again, 75 to 100 acres so far. Santa Barbara County Fire and the Los Padres National Forest trying to jump on this. We have no idea what it looks like yet on the ground. We have gotten a couple of pictures, and we're going to try to get those to you in the next few moments if we can. But this fire, again, literally walked into work probably 15 minutes ago, and just in the last 20 minutes, this thing really pluming into much more than we first thought that it might have been. This is being called the Ray Fire. Here's something that we can tell you about it. It's just off of Paradise Road in the Santa Barbara backcountry. It was first reported around 3 o'clock. Callers have been calling into our newsroom saying that they were seeing smoke. It's very visible from the Santa Barbara area. If you're anywhere near the beach, you can totally see this. There are evacuations that have been ordered for the Paradise Road campground and the Los Prietos Boys Camp. We're going to now talk to Santa Barbara County Fire. Michael Iacen is joining us. And, sir, this thing seems like it's gotten bigger in the last 10 minutes.
Yes, that it has. Thanks for having me. Yes, the fire, which was reported shortly after 3, we do have resources that are just now getting on scene. The fire is, from our last report from one of our airships overhead, was reported as being 75 to 100 acres, burning with a rapid rate of spread. The winds are blowing pretty good here. I'm on Paradise Road now, about 3 miles from the fire. And I would encourage your viewers and anyone else to, if you don't need to be up in this area, to please don't climb up 154 to just view the fire. It is visible all along the 154 corridor. We're going to be having a lot of fire equipment coming into the area. We're going to be having aircraft being diverted from neighboring fires trying to assist us. Resources are coming in. The law enforcement, like you said, are on scene. We do have evacuations that are underway, and I have passed folks from the Los Prietos Boys camps, as well as RVs and other campers. So if you don't need to be in the area, we appreciate if you would not come in this area, because we're going to have a lot of equipment coming.
You mentioned the resources that are coming from other fires. I mean, California is really going through a tough point right now. We have this giant fire in San Bernardino County. How is that going to impact things when it comes to resources for this?
Well, we're all stretched pretty thin throughout the state right now, but it's a very good network that we have. We do have resources out of the county, but we always have resources in the county. We're never a fire station is never closed because we send resources out of the area. The fire is burning in the Los Padres National Forest, so it is their fire. We are assisting, and we're going to have all the resources that we possibly can be brought to this area. So that's, again, why we would like you to stay off the highway 154, because if you're on the highway and we have resources coming up, you're going to hinder their efforts.
So you guys are on the way right now. When you get there, what is going to be the first thing that you're going to try to do? Obviously, there are people that need to get out of there, right?
Yes. If law enforcement now is arriving on scene as well, and I believe they're going to be doing phone calls, but cell signal is spotty along the Paradise corridor here, as you know. So we have law enforcement that are going to be going in there and asking people to leave, and we would very much appreciate it if you do heed their warnings and please leave the area if you are asked to do so. We want to take care of the fire. We don't want to have to worry about individuals who are staying in fire's way.
What else is back there? We know it's the backcountry. There is the Los Prietos Boys Camp. There's campsites also. Anything else that is of concern?
The main concern is there's just a lot of dry vegetation and a lot of room to grow. This fire is historically had fires here. I believe the last time it burned in this area was the White Fire Memorial Days ago. But there are other fires that have long burned in this area. So we're hoping to get a jump on it as best we can, but the temperatures are up, the winds are definitely up, and humidity level, I'm not sure the current humidity levels, but those will all play a factor in how this fire grows and how we can do our best to suppress it.
And you mentioned that this is burning rapidly. Which way is it going? Is there a danger that it could jump over the hills and come down towards the Santa Barbara Goleta area?
Well, I don't want to get into the speculation of that. There are always contingency plans and concentric circles that are drawn out from the center of the fire, which will become triggering points for actions that would follow. Right now, the fire is in this Paradise Road area. The smoke column is going straight up, slightly to the west. I can see flames from where I am, and right now it looks like we're going to be in this little Paradise Valley here. So that's definitely going to be a concern, but we're not going to say it's moving that direction just yet. I don't have eyes completely on the fire, and we don't have enough resources to really gauge what direction this fire is going to be going at this time.
Do you know if there's any air support that's coming in right now that you can see or that you know about?
We do have one of our Santa Barbara County Air Support units that is on scene and was the first airship on scene that gave us that initial size up of the 75 to 100 acres. They have since begun dipping into the lake and returning to the fire to drop water on it. I know the Los Padres National Forest are ordering up additional fixed wing as well as rotary helicopters to begin the aerial assault. Again, ground crews are still coming in, and so we're going to do our best to jump on it as best we can, but we're kind of at the mercy of the winds at this point right now.
All right. Michael Addison, thank you so much. Santa Barbara County Fire. And we're going to check in on the winds. Alan Rose is getting mic'd up. We'll talk to him in a moment. But let's recap what we know so far. Santa Barbara County fire crews are responding to this brush fire that is burning in the Paradise Road area back along the 154. This is the White Rock campgrounds. And there's also the Los Prietos Boys Camp that is back there. This fire first reported around 3 o'clock today, and just in the last 40 minutes has really kind of gone up. You can see the large plume of smoke over Santa Barbara. Here's a map of what we're talking about. You can see the 154 as it's drawn right there. Then you have the Lake Cachuma, and they're getting water out of that lake to go to this fire. And that pinpoint is the Paradise Road area where this is continuing to burn. 75 to 100 acres is what we're hearing right now. The fire department says the winds are strong and that the temperatures are very warm out there. This is the area that burned was the White Fire a few years ago. If you remember back then, it was a Memorial Day, I think 2 or 3 years ago. We were all covering that one, the White Fire. So this particular area has burned recently. We don't know what has caused this fire, although there have been reports of downed power lines in the area. That's still trying to be confirmed. It also appears to be moving in a northwest direction based on what the wind is pushing the smoke to. California Highway Patrol is assisting with some road closures that we know about, and that includes Highway 154. So we just heard from Michael Addison, who was with Santa Barbara County Fire. He says if you don't need to be going up the 154, don't do it. It's not worth it. It's most likely going to have to be closed in one or both directions, being such a tight road. Take the 101 if you need to get all the way around. It's an extra 10 minutes, not that big a deal, and avoid this area if possible. There were RVs that were there as well, trying to leave campgrounds. They were evacuating people. Evacuations are underway for Paradise Road campgrounds and the Los Prietos Boys Camp. So that is pretty much what we know right now about this fire. It is being called the Ray Incident. We believe that's R-A-Y, Ray Incident, and the smoke can be very visible throughout the Santa Barbara Goleta area. As you look up into the hills, you definitely see those large plumes of smoke. Going straight up right now, but being pushed to the west as well as we see them. This is our view from TV Hill, so very visible from, we're a good 50 miles, maybe not that much, 25 miles away from from that hillside. So all of this being followed very closely. Santa Barbara County Fire firefighters heading out there right now. They mentioned that there was one fixed-wing craft that was making drops. Might have been a helicopter. I forget what he mentioned. But they are pulling water out of Lake Cachuma, which is already depleted. But it got enough water in there to make some drops. So they are hitting this thing. Cal Fire and the Los Padres National Forest, they are also, this is in forest land, so they're going to be the ones taking control of this thing at some point. They've called in some extra resources. everybody stretched so thin with all these fires burning in California. As we look around our newsroom, there's up on all of our monitors the San Bernardino fire, which continues to be going, and that thing is I think only 10% contained and well over 30,000 acres. So this fire right here, 75 acres to 100. They were able to get a good look at it from the skies, and we're still going to see if Alan, you just about ready, Alan? Yes. He'll be there in a second. We're going to get wind conditions from Alan Rose. He's tracking all that as this fire is, they said, very, very windy back there as Santa Barbara County Fire is keeping an eye on it. Andrew Madsen is joining us now. He's with the Los Padres National Forest. And Andrew, we've seen this area burn before. What can you tell us about this Ray fire that's going now?
Well, this fire was called in at about 3:15, and looks like it's got a rapid rate of spread right now. It's burning into medium fuel, so we've initiated a full response along with our partners at Santa Barbara County and Montecito, and we've got a lot of resource orders going through right now, including 2 air tankers, 2 helicopters, a heavy tanker, and so we'll be looking to bring those on the scene. I know we've got a partial closure on Highway 154, so that we can get some of that heavy equipment to the scene. And then there's also some evacuations in progress along Paradise Road.
Sir, I know you are, you can really speak to being stretched thin when it comes to fire personnel. You're actually up at the Soberanes fire in Monterey, is that correct?
Yeah, actually I just left up there after 3 weeks, so we do have a lot of resources up there, but we are able to pull, and we've just seen a lot of explosion of activity the last few days out, and some other fires on state land. So resources are at a premium, and we're looking to get them from wherever we can.
When we first started hearing about this fire, we ran outside to see if we could see it, saw nothing. 15 minutes later, we go out there, and there's this huge plume of smoke. What does that tell you about how this fire's burning?
Well, it's moving, it's flipping along. So initial reports were 5 to 8 acres, and obviously that's jumped considerably. So that's what you're going to see is a lot of smoke as this thing continues to push through these areas.
Air resources, we know there's at least 1 helicopter, I believe, that is going over this. What else do you have planned from the Forest Service that's going to be on this?
So we've ordered some air tankers. We have a lead plane. In addition to that, we've been ordering helicopters, including the heavy, and so it's a matter of when we can get those engaged. But those are on order, and the sooner we get those here, the quicker we can work.
All right, Andrew Madsen from the Los Padres National Forest, thank you very much. Good luck out there. Temperature is apparently very warm, winds also being a factor. And we're going to go to Alan Rose now, our chief meteorologist. He's tracking what conditions are like.
Yeah, Joe, it's very hot. I think that's the biggest thing working against the fire right now, because if you look outside in Santa Barbara, it is an alarming sight, but it's in the backcountry. The smoke plume for now drifting straight up into the sky. That lets us know that the winds are not that significant, but still, winds in that area are around 10 to 15 miles an hour. Let's switch to the graphics. It's called the Ray Fire. That's what we're hearing for now. And it's near Los Prietos and Paradise Road. You can see the 154 right there. East of the 154, east of Cachuma Lake, and north of Santa Barbara, and north as well as of East Camino Cielo. Right now, 97 degrees. It's hotter there than it is in Santa Ynez. Winds are coming out of the east-southeast. If you need an idea of what direction that means, look at the arrow. It's moving from that direction to the west-northwest. Gusting around 15 miles an hour, maybe as high as 20 in some of the higher ridgetop areas. And look at the humidity, just bone dry at 4% right now. You can see the winds to the west of it in Santa Ynez are coming out of a different direction. So within those canyon areas and the valleys, a lot of times you can get a variability or shift in the wind direction and speeds, even just a few miles down the road. Also seeing west winds out there in Santa Maria and Lompoc. Santa Ynez not nearly as hot as what we're seeing in that area of Santa Barbara County. But again, for now, the big concern is how dry, how hot things are. And this is some spots where vegetation likely hasn't burned in maybe 5-10 years, even several decades. Yeah. A lot of dry fuels to chew through, and this is one of the downsides of being in year number 5. such a historic drought, Joe.
Yeah, anything sparks up like that.
Right.
All right,
It spreads quickly.
Thank you very much. Let's go back to some of those live pictures now as we take a look at what's being called the Ray Fire. The smoke visible from the Santa Barbara, Goleta area. So far, 75 to 100 acres, really exploding in the last 45 minutes into what we see now. It has a rapid rate of speed, according to the fire department from Santa Barbara County, and it is impacting travel on the 154. They are advising everyone, if you don't need to go up the 154, don't do it. Take the 101, go around. There's a lot of fire resources and equipment that is making its way up the 154, and they don't want to have to be impacted by traffic or things like that. The Los Padres National Forest is where this is burning. They're the ones that are ordering some extra air support. There are air tankers that are coming in. One helicopter is working this fire right now, and it is pulling water out of Lake Cachuma. Some evacuations are being made. This includes the Los Prietos Boys Camp. We heard Mike Eliason from Santa Barbara County Fire telling us just a little while ago. He saw buses full of them leaving. There's also the campgrounds up there, Paradise Road. Beautiful weather if you want to go camping, but of course there's people up there, so they're trying to get them out as we are trying to get much more information, and we have a crew heading to the scene right now, but that large plume of smoke is starting to really get up into the sky as we're getting a good look at it here. This fire just started about 48 minutes ago. The calls to the fire department came in at 3:15, so really in the last half hour we've seen much more smoke going up into the air, and as you see down toward the bottom half of that smoke area, it's a lot of black smoke as well, so that means things are burning. There's a lot of vegetation out there. Santa Barbara County Fire mentioned that this area, maybe not this particular spot that's burning, but this area, though, had the white fire back on Memorial Day, I believe 2013. And here's a good map of showing you where this fire is burning in relation to Lake Cachuma and the 154. You can see how traffic's definitely going to be impacted going up and down the 154 because of where this fire is located. And the lake is a nice little resource to have there when it comes to trying to make some water drops and different tactics that they can use to get water out of that lake and over to the fire quickly with the use of helicopters. The Swarovski helicopter that comes in, and it's called the Sky Crane. It can literally go down, sit atop the water, suck up hundreds of gallons, and then go back out to the firefight in just a couple of minutes. Down power lines were reported in this area. We're still trying to confirm if that may be what sparked this fire. We're not sure. Details still pretty sketchy right now as we're just 40 minutes into this thing. But this is the Ray Fire, rapid rate of speed. People being told not to go up the 154, and we are going to be tracking this throughout the rest of the day. We'll have updates here on News Channel 3 and continually over at KEYT.com. We'll see you back here in a little bit when we get more information. Thank you. Have a great day.